Absolutely not. And this is the reason that we are in trouble as a republic. Because over the years, there has been encroachment by the legislature, by the judiciary, by the executive branch, and we have had our Constitution, which I believe I am an originalist, and it has been eaten away at and driven over, and this is one of the important reasons why I'm running, because we have to get our republic back. The Founding Fathers never intended the federal government to overreach in health care, to buy banks, car companies, insurance companies, to pass cap and trade, on and on. And folks, our Constitution is the document, the blueprint, the supreme blueprint for where we should be as a nation. And therefore, I think it's absolutely important that we elect people who believe that the Constitution says what it says. And that's what's so harmful, I think, about what we're seeing with this President's Supreme Court nominee, Elena Kagan. She has no regard for the Second Amendment. She has no regard for the United States military. And we need to do everything we can to ensure that we are putting people on the bench that are not activists and who believe that the Constitution says what it says.
The Constitution is a rule book. It is being treated now as a dusty old document in some archive. When we look at how to cut spending in this country, the first place we should look is to the Constitution. What does it say about the proper role of the federal government? You know, the Founding Fathers were much smarter than me and much smarter than anybody in Washington, D.C. right now. They knew the revolutionary nature of the document they were creating. It was a power in the people, not a power in the government. The government works for the people and not the other way around. It was really a revolutionary thought at the time, and we have moved further and further away from that revolutionary thought. It was creeping even before the Great Depression, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt took that opportunity in the Great Depression to threaten the Supreme Court with sacking the Supreme Court, and then used things like the Commerce Clause and other clauses in an expanded way and really undermined the fundamental nature of what our Founding Fathers intended in that Constitution. As for Supreme Court justices, absolutely, they must be strict instructions if they're going to get my vote.
We're expanding the closing remarks. We're going to have 3 minutes for closing remarks. And Ms. Norton, you're going to go first. Thank you.
Well, I want to start by thanking the 3 organizations that have hosted us tonight. Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thanks to each and every one of you here tonight. I know, Ken, you've got some great supporters here, and I admire their passion and commitment. I know that certainly the Norton campaign has its share of some really great supporters as well, and I want to thank you all. This is an exciting time to be involved. How many people are here who have never been involved in the political process before? Would you be brave enough to say, put your hand up? So we've got a lot of old timers, but some new people as well. I want to especially thank you for being involved. You know, we're seeing something happen across this nation, and I think it's a wonderful thing. People are getting involved. They're getting behind candidates. They're really passionate about what's going on. People are going to their first town hall meetings for the first time. I mean, that's one of the things, I think one of the only things I can thank President Obama for, is that he's really energized people. They're concerned. I hear people everywhere I go say, Jane, I'm nervous about our country. I'm scared. I'm downright angry. I want my country back. People are going to town hall meetings. They're going to groups like this. They're going to Tea Party groups. They're going to 9/12 groups. And the media says, Jane, are you worried about that? Do you think that's bad? I say, bring it on. This is wonderful. This is democracy in action. And I decided to run for the U.S. Senate, not because I believe I'm the answer, but together we are the answer for taking our country back. And last night, and I know, Kim, we're going to get this question a lot. People say, well, if you don't win the primary, will you support the other? And both Ken and I said, is really about what is the proper scope and role of the federal government. And we have a federal government that is absolutely out of control. And that's what my campaign about. It's talking about spending. It's talking about integrity. It's talking about the kind of people that we want to have back in the House and Senate. So again, I want to say thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure. And I know, Ken, I'll see you on the campaign trail. Thank you.
First, I was remiss in my opening. I want to introduce my wife, Perry. I got to tell you, it is easier to take the volleys as the candidate than it is as the spouse and as the family. And I really appreciate my family standing with me on this campaign and helping me out. There are a number of things that we need to do in Washington, D.C. And one of them is a constitutional balanced budget amendment, folks. We cannot allow this country to keep spending the way it is spending. $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities, $13 trillion debt. Just a couple weeks ago, I was saying a $12 trillion debt. By the way, has anybody here ever seen $1 trillion? Isn't that a scary concept that they're spending money at a rate that we can't even fathom? The other thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we have a constitutional term limit. Yes. The folks that are sitting there and watching this meeting, they have been sitting there for far too long. And some of them are sitting there and they don't even know that they're sitting there. We have to term limit our senators, we have to term limit our representatives. And I have to tell you something, folks. When I am sworn in January 2011, I will not take an oath to our political party because I believe in principle over party. And I will not take an oath to the special interest groups that are back there. I will put my left hand on the Bible, I will raise my right hand, and I will take an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America, so help me God. To give voice to those Americans who still believe in this country's self-experiment in limited government, who do not believe that America's decline is inevitable. We need to return to the liberating principles of our founding fathers. As it was for most of this country's history, so it can be again. You know, we have a choice in this election. We can repeat history or we can make history. I'm Ken Buck. I'm asking for your support so that together we can make the kind of history that our children and grandchildren will be proud of. Thank you.